Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to give an update. I haven't been on the channel for about 2 weeks. I haven't posted any video. I've been working behind the scenes, getting some things done. But the point of this video is I want to talk about what a car salesman and a mortgage broker has in common. So as I get deeper and deeper into my real estate investing, I'm finding that if you don't say things the right way or you say them the wrong way, I'm not going to say necessarily used against you, but you got to know what you're looking at. And I say that because if you walk into a car dealership, the number one goal for you is obviously to walk away with the best deal possible, what you have in your, for say, budget. So when you tell the car salesman, hey, I can do 500 a month, because you know that's in your budget. But what do they have to do for that 500? Is it going to be 84 months on a used car? If they can even do that, I'm not sure they can. It'd be 72 months. How long are you going to be locked into this deal? So they get a bad rap for that, but at the end of the day, you're telling them that you have $500 to put towards this. So when they have to extend you out to 84 months because you have a 14% interest, or they add this or add that, they put fees in everything, and you don't really pay too much attention to that because it fits what you're looking for. So sometimes when you go look at a car, it's just an impulse buy and you want. Sometimes you're backed against the wall and you feel like maybe you have to make that decision without really not necessarily understanding, but you kind of just have a lot of pressure on you. So you're going to do things that you might not normally do in certain situations. So that's with the car dealership. I would never suggest anybody walk into a car dealership without feeling that they have some type of leverage. I mean, unless they're, you don't have a car, you got to do something, but still be prepared. Try to take your own financing to car dealerships. That way they have a little less leverage there. And I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. And what I'm about to say about mortgage brokers, I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. I just want to make people aware of just the situation I ran into, and because I put myself in the position a little bit. So transitioning into a mortgage broker. So I've been working with a broker. Overall, the relationship started off good, went a little sour with some of the some appraisal stuff that I didn't really like. I'm in a short-term hard money loan, so I need to get out of that. So further on, push, with these DSCR loans I'm getting, they typically want you to have your unit rented. So I had a duplex, so I had one rented. I was waiting to get the other one rented. So I got it rented. Cool, move everything forward. So I get back in contact with the mortgage broker, say, hey, let's move on. So what I asked for is a loan estimate, and I didn't really get it. I just got like a text saying kind of what it's going to be close. And I'll be transparent about it. They gave me an interest rate, and they gave me what, when you close, sometimes there's an overage of money based on the loan to value. So at 70%, somewhere in the calculation, I was going to get about $4,000 left over after everything's cleared out on the loan. Cool, $4,000. Wasn't necessarily my goal, but it is what it is. I mean, as far as their breakdown. So cool. So I received a message from another person in that office a couple days later, and they send me another loan estimate. So I look at it. Now the interest rate's a little bit higher. It went from a 7.4 to a 7.7. That changes weekly, daily, whatever. wasn't super concerned about that. But now it went from me owing $5,000 at closing to make sure that this loan went through, which it happens. It happens if, you know, sometimes the value of the loan or the payoff equals out to where you have to pay to get into the long-term loan. So my reply was, this is not what we discussed the whole time. So what's going on? So they get into it. We had to change some things in the loan. They had it as a cash out refinance and it shouldn't have been a cash out refinance. So now the interest rate is going to be about the same. 7.7 is what they gave me. And you're going to get about a couple thousand back. Cool. A couple thousand doesn't really mean much to me, but it's not money coming out of my pocket. So then this is where it gets interesting. It's like a car salesman. I put off to them as my number one goal was to make sure I was walking away with cash. It was not my number one goal, but that is how I kind of work things out. You know, in case I owe money to other investors and stuff like that, I'll pay them out of that. So, you know, one way or another, I reached out to another lender. They kind of looked at it. And there's a lot of things on a loan estimate. If you don't know what you're looking for necessarily, you're going to find what you want to look for, but you're not going to necessarily find everything. So he looked at it. And every broker's goal is to beat the other broker's price for they can get the sale, you know. So he's looking at it. He's like, hey, you know, our fees come out to about $4,200 less. So, but our interest is a little higher, and there's a thing called prepayment penalty. I'll talk about that in another video, but ours is 5 years instead of 3. So basically, I have to buy myself out of a loan within 5 years if I want to refinance. Not really a big deal because I don't really see that there's going to be too much motion on that, and it's just not the most important thing of the loan. So he goes through. And I was like, okay, well, everything looks pretty good. Your fees are less. And he's like, I was like, well, so how much, what's it going to look like at closing? He said, well, you'll get about $5,200. I said, okay, well, $5,200, cool. That's, you know, that makes the difference of the, you know, the higher interest or the higher fees. So then on the first loan, they was requiring at closing, they take 3 months of the payments. Now, I don't know how other people feel about that. It wasn't super important to me at the time as I thought about it, because either way I'm paying it, whether I'm paying it up front, because they was deferring the payments 3 months. So I said, well, if you're not doing that on your loan to the second guy, then I should be having them 3 months. And he's like, no. And I was like, well, where's that money going then? Because they had it on theirs and you don't have it on yours. He's like, well, the loan that they're giving you, opposed to what I'm giving you, is $5,000 more. So it was like $163,000. But this is like I said on the car salesman thing. What they did when they redid the loan, they did my loan amount for $158 the first time when I owed money. So they went in and the only thing they adjusted was the price that they was going to let me borrow. So they actually even broke their limit of what they said 70%. They gave me a loan value to 72%. That way I could walk away with that money. So this is where I take my accountability, is I made it seem that walking away with money was my most important thing. So that's where I said when I walked into the situation, I walked into it with the attitude that was the most important thing. So they moved things around to make it suitable for what I wanted. Now, the problem I do have with this is they didn't tell me that. All they said was they had to change the loan because they didn't have it set up right. They didn't say nothing about the purchase price. So as yesterday, I get a follow-up text saying, hey, you know, we would like to try to compete with the other loan, because I told them I was probably going to go with the other loan. And I asked him about it, and he was transparent. He said, yeah, he said, that's what we had to do to make the loan work for you. You don't have to pay. So overall, be careful what you ask for, because these people will make the deal work, because that's ultimately what you want, is the deal to work. And that's ultimately what they want, because they have to sell the mortgage or whatever they do afterwards. It's all on that. So just be careful about how you phrase things and ask things, and be educated. Have people look at it. Have the mortgage brokers work against each other. They're competitors. It's like anything. When you go to put an offer on a house, you're competing against other investors. So, you know, they're going to have different ideas on investments than you. So that's why I reach out to, you know, my mentor and people in my group, my investment group, that have, you know, they don't have nothing to win or lose on the deal. So reach out to people, make sure you understand what you're looking at. And I say this message is a lot mainly for like newer investors, but really what concerns me is that people, the average people that are buying mortgages for, you know, for their families, are getting, you know, manipulated. I feel like there is a sense of manipulation when you don't tell somebody what you're doing, whether it was malicious or not. You change the purchase price to make something work that really wasn't agreed upon. So it just kind of worries me about, you know, say a 25-year-old couple with kids and stuff like that. It's just not right. And I'm glad I caught this mistake, and I'm still not closed on the other loan. And I don't have any like bad feelings towards the other company. I just kind of know what to expect. That they're going to do everything they can to close the deal. And, you know, ultimately that's what you asked for. You want to close the deal. And it actually, what they was going to close me on is a good interest rate. And it's just a lot of fees. And I'm not going to pay an extra $5,000 on a mortgage just to get money back. I'm not going to put that $5,000 into a loan. I would, if person come to sub, I would just pay the $5,000. So, you know, you don't want to finance $5,000, especially if you have it. If you don't, I completely understand that. But we're going to talk more about everything else in this video, like how when I get the deal closed, I had to send all the paperwork in. So, you know, follow us on the next video. I'm going to talk about a fourplex I put an offer in. Didn't get it, but it's not closed yet, so there's still a chance. So follow me, and let's talk about it in the next video. All right.